What is the biggest tire we can fit on a stock Silverado 1500 ZR2? 35 inch is what we're going for on this. Now I'm going to run a non-traditional tire. It's not going to be as aggressive as this. It will be a 35 inch tire though. It's the same one that's on the Silverado EV Trail Boss. So we're going to go ahead and get this truck into the shop, get those tires installed onto the wheels, and see if we have any rubbing or anything like that. And here they are installed. You can see we've got a street profile. We'll go to the side shot here. They do fit. Those are 35s. They are a little narrow, so I think that helps with the no rubbing currently, but we will need to drive this a little bit further. You can see from the side, it looks like it's got a nice little profile to it. Tread wise, definitely more of a street than any off-road. Here's what we pulled off. Get some measurements off of those. I'm curious how much life we've got left in those. Still do show quite a bit. I mean, the lugs are still good. But anyway, as far as these go, let's go ahead and see what the speedometer is reading now with this adjustment compared to GPS. All right, cruise control is set to 65 miles an hour. Hopefully you can see that. And we are showing 67 miles an hour on the GPS. I will say these tires are so quiet. I mean, I hear absolutely nothing. Here we are sitting at 70 with a reading of 72, 73 kind of fluctuates. So again, we're going by GPS here, so at most 73. All right, while we came to a stop here, I'm gonna go ahead and say that these tires are extremely quiet. They definitely absorb some of the bumps. It's really, really smooth. That is to be expected with the larger tires. I did notice, well, I'm trying to pay attention to everything, but when I'm starting to take off from a stop, it does sound like the engine is a little bit louder, like it does have to work a little bit harder to get it to roll. Now that makes sense because I effectively changed the gear ratio just a little bit because it now has to spin these 35 inch tires. As far as tire weights go, I believe I added 6 pounds per corner. So we also have the added tire mass there. The rolling resistance is definitely going to be less with these tires. What else do we have? There's a whole plethora of pros and cons to these. I do want to point out too that the ZR2 has just under a 2-inch lift. I know it's advertised as 2-inch, but in comparison to a regular truck, it's just under 2 inches. So if anybody is about to try these 35 inch tires on their regular truck, be sure you have at least one of those 2-inch spacer kits installed, because otherwise it's probably not going to fit. Just want to point that out. But yeah, clearly 285, 75, 18s do fit, and speedometer is only off by a little bit. I'll do calculations with my fuel mileage to see how that continues to go. I do expect to see a increase in fuel mileage just because of the rolling resistance, but I think that's going to come down to how much stop and go I'm doing and how much freeway runs I'm going to be doing. But we'll go ahead and keep an eye on that. All right, so here's the real test. Reverse at full lock. No rub at all. Okay, we had a rub right at the end of that. All right, so at full lock, we're rubbing right there, just a smidge, just rubbing on there. So we're gonna go ahead and trim that down. Before we get into the pros and cons of the new tires I put on there, let me talk about the ones that I took off, because these are actually amazing tires. I'm very happy with these. They are the Goodyear Territory MTs. They come specifically on the ZR2. They are a 275, 70, 18, which puts them at a 33.1 inch tire. Whereas the new one, I don't have any exact specifications, but GM calls them 35 inch tires when they're talking about them on the new Silverado EV Trail Boss. Other sizes I've seen measure out at 34.8 inches. So they're right at 35 inches. There is a weight difference, 50 pounds versus 56 pounds. So I believe the Trail Boss also is around 32.8 inches. That's going off of memory. But let me talk about these. Noise level, minimal. These are actually really, really good as far as noise goes. I did rotate the tires roughly every 3,000 miles, and I think that shows with the very even tread wear pattern. I would highly suggest anybody get these. These are fantastic. Now the ones that I put on the truck, let's talk about those. Those are the Goodyear Wrangler Territory ATs. Now I did not buy from Tire Rack, but Tire Rack has great printout information. So had I bought through Tire Rack, it would have been $1171.52. However, my price with the buy three, get one for $1 deal that's going on with GM dealerships cost me $1190.21 out the door. That's installed plus an alignment. I did get an alignment taken care of. These are the tires that came off of it. These are the 275/70 R18. So I am very, very happy with the new tires. I think they ride really nice. I do have very, very slight rubbing, so I failed as far as hoping that there would be no modifications. I don't know how anybody can run a more aggressive tire like these in a 285/75/18, but people out there say they do it, and on the ZR2s with no modifications at all. And I have to say, in my case, that would not be it, because I'm already showing very, very slight rubbing. That's with full lock in reverse going up a driveway, so keep that in mind. Let me know what your thoughts are as far as these tires go. I'm actually very happy with the way that they came out. I think this is going to be great for future videos, and I'll definitely be sharing more info as I get it.